Moses and his brother Aaron met at Horeb, the mountain of God, and from there they started off to Egypt to fulfill the mission God has given them to deliver the Israelites from slavery. There, they gathered all the leaders of the Israelites, and they told them all that the Lord had spoken to them, and Moses performed the signs before them. They believed, rejoiced, and worshipped. Then Moses and Aaron went to speak to Pharaoh.
This is what the Lord God of Israel says. Let my people go.
Really? And who is the Lord? Why should I obey his voice to let Israel go? I do not know the Lord, nor will I let Israel go.
Moses and Aaron's persistence enraged the king.
Get back to your labor.
That same day, Pharaoh commanded the Egyptian taskmasters and their officers to stop giving straw to the people to make bricks.
Let them go and gather straw for themselves, and you shall lay on them the quota of bricks which they made before. Let more work be laid on them, that they may labor in it, and let them not regard false words.
Since they didn't deliver the daily quota, they were cruelly beaten. So, the officers of the children of Israel came to speak to Pharaoh, but it was useless.
Idle people, lazy, go now and work. No straw will be given to you.
As they came out from Pharaoh, they met Moses and Aaron. The initial joy turned into hatred.
Let the Lord look on you and judge, because you have made us abhorrent in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants.
Why did Moses and Aaron have to face such a difficult beginning? Shouldn't God have made the process easier for them, since He Himself had sent them to carry out that mission? Sabbath School Like presents the series Exodus, Journey to the Promised Land. Lesson 3, Rough Start. On January 15, 2009, the U.S. Airways Flight 1549 took off from LaGuardia Airport in New York. Mid-ascent, the plane collided with a flock of birds and lost both engines. Everything was in chaos, except the pilot. Chesley Sully Sullenberger didn't scream or panic. He simply landed the plane on the Hudson River without a single casualty. Why was he so calm? A lifetime of preparation. He himself said, "I prepared a single lesson for 42 years. And I got to put it into practice that day." Likewise, Moses and Aaron faced total chaos from the very first try of fulfilling their mission. Everything spiraled out of control, but this story is there to teach us something powerful: how to react when everything seems upside down. So this week's question is, how does Moses and Aaron encounter with Pharaoh teach us to trust in God even in the midst of chaos? First, seeing beyond the arrogance. Have you ever seen those inflatable dolls they sometimes put up at the entrance of businesses?
Yes, those that move as if they were dancing with the wind.
Some are huge and even intimidating.
Exactly. But when you get closer, you realize that they are just air. Something similar happened with Thutmose III, the Pharaoh of the Exodus. He spoke as if he were a living God. But deep inside, he was just an inflated doll with the air of his own ego. When he asked, "And who is the Lord?" he didn't really desire to know him, but rather to arrogantly defy him. That's why he declared,
I do not know the Lord, nor will I let Israel go.
But do you know what the real problem was? Moses, Aaron, and the Israelites leaders were intimidated by this inflated doll. Pharaoh's tone and power so discouraged them that Moses asked the Lord,
Lord, why have you brought trouble on this people? Why is it you have sent me?
And that's when God invited him to see beyond the arrogance.
Now you shall see what I will do to Pharaoh, for with a strong hand he will let them go, and with a strong hand he will drive them out of his land.
Do you notice? God says to Moses, "Now you shall see." Moses saw Pharaoh, his power, his arrogance, but God wanted him to see beyond, trusting in what he would do. Because human arrogance may seem powerful, but it is no match for the power of a God who never loses control. Thanks to Thutmose III, Egypt became a symbol of arrogance against God. Revelation 11:8 speaks symbolically of a spiritual Egypt. And when was that prophecy fulfilled? During the French Revolution, when France officially declared with great arrogance, "There is no God." However, what must concern us now is the arrogance of those who oppose God in the end times. And this is where the story is relevant to us. In times of oppression, don't be intimidated by those who believe they are invincible. Look beyond the arrogance. Trust in what the Lord will do. Second, believing in the divine eye. Have you ever seen a contract full of clauses, terms, conditions, signatures, seals, and even involves a notary?
Yes, like these rental contracts that even ask for your blood type.
Or those on social media nobody reads but everyone agrees.
Well, in Exodus 6, God does a much simpler thing but way more powerful. He made a covenant with his people with a single phrase, Ani Yahweh. What does it mean? I am the Lord. This expression appears 4 times in Exodus 6, 1 through 8, right after saying to Moses, Now you shall see what I will do to Pharaoh. And each, I am the Lord, offers a resounding assurance. In verse 2, I am the Lord, it's like, remember this, Moses, I am the one who spoke to you from the bush. In verse 6, I am the Lord precedes a chain of divine actions. I will bring you out, I will rescue you, I will redeem you. In verse 7 he says, And you will know that I am the Lord, or you will see that I fulfill what I say. And in verse 8, I am the Lord is like a final seal, reaffirming his identity and superior authority than Pharaoh's. But if I am the Lord is repeated 4 times, the single pronoun I appears 4 more times in the passage. You will see what I will do to Pharaoh. I have heard the groaning of the children of Israel. I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will bring you into the land. I will give it to you as a heritage. Do you notice the divine I appears 8 times in total in these 8 verses? Because God is the subject of all miracles. Moses no longer needed new proof. He needed faith in the divine eye. And so do we. Because there are times in life when you don't understand the why, but we can cling to the who. And the who is Yahweh, the faithful God of covenants. And third, acting as God says. Imagine a big shiny balloon.
I love them.
Then someone comes along and pops it with a pin.
There's always the balloon popping one.
Well, after listening 8 times to the divine eye, Moses went out with his balloon of courage fully inflated. But when he approached the Israelites and they refused to listen to him, that balloon quickly deflated. Then the Lord said to Moses,
Go in, speak to Pharaoh, king of Egypt.
The children of Israel have not heeded me. How then shall Pharaoh heed me, since I speak with faltering lips?
This expression with faltering lips in Hebrew is aral sephatayim, literally translates uncircumcised of lips. Moses had already come up with that excuse when God had called him from the bush. And yes, Moses did have trouble speaking the Egyptian language, but God is never stopped by our limitations.
See, I have made you like God to Pharaoh, and your brother Aaron will be your prophet. You are to say everything I command you, and your brother Aaron is to tell Pharaoh to let the Israelites go out of his country.
God spoke to Moses, Moses spoke to Aaron, and Aaron spoke to Pharaoh. And God used this communication highway to explain how the prophetic ministry works. Moses was like God, and Aaron was the prophet. And you know what? Even though the balloon of courage was deflated, Moses and Aaron did exactly as God had said. Why? Because obedience has nothing to do with feelings. Obedience is a matter of faith. When Captain Sully landed on the Hudson River without a single casualty, it wasn't luck, but rather preparation. Moses and Aaron also had a turbulent start off in their mission, but they learned 3 important lessons: to look beyond the enemy's arrogance, to believe in the I am the Lord, and to act just as God says. And those 3 lessons are for us as well. So if we are ready to look beyond, to trust and obey when the chaos of the last days comes, we won't lose our confidence, as did Sully on the Hudson, and we will see the fulfillment of the promise, I am the Lord, the God of all mankind. Is anything too hard for me? Has this study blessed you? You can also be part of this mission to teach the Bible in a creative and transformative way. Scan the QR code on the screen and support us so that more people can learn how to study the Exodus, Journey to the Promised Land. Remember, together we can grow more.